What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 67. We start today's episode off with transfer deadline day, and after the big sale of Ibrahim Sangare to Real Madrid for £40 million. We had just over 43 mil remaining in the budget, and I did mention I was certainly going to be in the market to replace Sangare after that deal to the Bernabeu went through. I had several names on the shortlist, including the guy I really wanted, Jason Denaye at Leicester, who wouldn't go because he's too important for the club, as the Foxes don't have enough depth in that position. Godfrey just moved to Arsenal, and I was gutted because he was the one I wanted. Tomori moved to Wolves in the summer, so I couldn't get him either. Joe Gomez just joined Inter Milan, so I couldn't get him either. So the top three targets I had were unavailable, but in the end, it might turn out to be a blessing in disguise, because Ben White has just over a year and a half left on his deal at SC Freiburg right now. We could get him for under the valuation. He wants to return to England. 84 overall, 28 years old, exactly the same as Sangare, and a chance to get him cheaper than what we sold Ibrahim for to the Bernabeu. And in the end, that's exactly what would happen. I spoke to Freiburg. I said, how much do you want? 32 mil was the fee we arranged. That's 2.5 mil under valuation of the former Arsenal and Brighton centre half. His wage is not the highest either. Whilst I did offer a wage increase, it wasn't going to be that much than what he's getting paid right now. 68 grand a week, 4-year deal. That was the contract we arranged. And Ben White, welcome to Brentford and welcome back to England and the Premier League. From Brighton, all those loan spells, to Arsenal, then to Freiburg in Germany. Now he's back in London, but now a Brentford player. So yeah, 32 mil, 8 million less than what we sold Sangare for. Everyone knows Ben White is very good when playing out from the back. Decent passer of the ball, comfortable with both his left foot and his right foot. He's got a little bit of pace as well, don't get me wrong. I think the question marks of Ben has always been aerially. Is he strong enough? Is he commanding enough in the air? But technically, he reads the game very, very well, and defensively too. His awareness at times is certainly more than capable for him to develop his game and become a really good centre-half as the years go by. Don't forget, he's still quite a young man. But Ben White comes in, he's now 28 years old in the game. And whether I made the right call there, I guess only time is going to tell. With Sangare, there was just so much interest for him from last season. And I mentioned every time the bids came in, if a big enough bid comes in, if it's from a big European club as well, I'm not going to stand in the way of a dream move of going somewhere like a Barcelona, a PSG, or a Real Madrid. In the end, I said 40 mil for Real Madrid. They met it, so I just felt it was right to let him go. Ben White coming in for £8 million less. He's the same rating, he's the same age. Only time will tell whether he's going to be as good as Sangare. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We had a couple more bids on deadline day as well. One for Rico Henry, another one for Konsa from Borussia Dortmund, but we decided to keep them here. So just the one sale and one signing in the window. You see Vinicius going to Manchester City. Leon Goretzka is off to AC Milan, and Jimenez has now joined Chelsea for 79 mil after all the years at Atletico Madrid. But I'm reasonably happy with this January window because, I mentioned before, what I really didn't want to do is make major changes, and a lot of them as well, in this January window, because even though we have been a little bit shaky since December, we've won our last 5 games in all competitions. I know we haven't been exactly at our best, if you will, but we're still top of the table. We're into the last 16 of the Champions League. We're into the FA Cup last 16 as well. We're not exactly doing bad at the moment. We're doing fine. We're doing really well. So I didn't want to make a major move, but I wasn't against doing something, changing, tweaking just one thing. In the end, it's Sangare for White, and again, we shall see if it turns out to be the right decision or not. Still, you look at our squad then, this is it between now and the end of the season. It is a 5-star team. There is a decent amount of depth in it. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of really decent players, a lot of decent young talent as well. Shane Keith, our youth striker, has now become 75 overall. I've got to get this guy another loan next season to continue to develop his game. But yeah, we're a 5-star team, 85 attack, 84 midfield, 84 defending. We are a Champions League team on merit. We're a title contending team on merit now. There's no doubt about it. We're more than good enough to compete in both Europe and for domestic titles as well. You see the FA Cup last 16 get drawn here. We've got Brighton away from home. So interesting. We had them last season at this exact same round, I believe. Was the quarterfinals, 1 or 2. But even so, Brighton away in the last 16 of the FA Cup. We've seen them before. We'll see them again. Right now in a good season too. 5th place in the Premier League. So yeah, it's you know, I have to say, again, the big move, the big decision, whether it pays off or not, only time will tell. But I think I made the right call not to make major changes. You saw the big bids we had. We had loads of them. Rico Henry could have gone. Ryan Niambe could have gone. Maitland Niles could have gone. David Raya could have gone. Instead, despite raising loads of money and looking to change those players, look for new signings or one big signing for the first team to replace all the squad depth there, I think I made the right call. If we're going to be competitive on all three fronts here and try and go for a treble, then we need to have good amount of squad depth. Right now we've got it, and great first team quality as well. Still, first game of today's episode, Burnley away at Turf Moor, taking on Sean Dyche's side. Liverpool cutting the gap to 2 points in the Premier League, though we do have the game in hand. So winning this one would give the gap up, get the gap up to 5 points. Massive opportunity to gain some separation on Jurgen Klopp's side. In 28 minutes in, we were 2-0 up. First, Wilfred Ndidi scoring our opening goal, and then Brian and Mbeumo capitalising on a Bailey Peacock Farrell fumble. You know, I was taught this as a goalkeeper in junior football myself. If you can't hold on to a shot, then make sure you push it as far away from open play as possible. If you can't get it behind for a corner, push it as far away as you can, because if it's back into open play around the 6-yard area, you risk the chance of an opposition forward running in, getting on the end of rebound and turning it into the unguarded net. That's exactly what happens there. We go 2-0 up courtesy of Mbeumo. You know, goalkeepers in this year's FIFA, mentioned before, they are just so inconsistent, and dealing with long shots is a real problem for them, but still leading by 2, and 33 minutes in we will double our lead, and Mbeumo scored our second and our third as well. Whilst I could probably point the fingers at Bailey for the second goal, don't think you can say that one here is Peacock Farrell's fault. Absolutely not. Mbeumo takes the ball out of his feet and levers it. Top bins. Absolutely glorious strike from Mbeumo. It took him a long time to become really good in this team, but now he is. 85 overall and regularly involved in our goals as he won the assist title last year. So 3-0 Brentford. Could have got another assist here as well. Final chance of the half, offloading to Gutierrez. Good stop by Baylor, kept it at 3-0, but at this point the job was basically done. We were leading by 3, we were in complete control. Didn't seem like we were in any danger of throwing away the 3 points and extending our gap to 5. So yeah, still leading by 3. Looking for more goals in the second half here. Gutierrez denied by Peacock Farrell. It was still 3-0, but I wanted more goals. I know I can't defend, but I want to get to over 100 goals this season. Winning the title is my main objective. Getting over 100 goals is the secondary one. We had an abundance of chances to extend our lead as well. Tony chipping this ball onto the post. It was still 3-0. And with 20 minutes to go, Burnley looking for a glimmer of hope. Little route back into the game, possibly in a game that had been dominated and got it as well. And Bongo smacking one in from range. You know, I mentioned just a moment ago there, long shots in this year's FIFA, and we talk about it all the time. They have been toned down, to be fair. I will give EA credit to that. They were just ridiculous at the start of FIFA. Since the patches, they have been toned down, but they are still really, really common to score and both concede as well. But thankfully, it works both ways, and it did in this game as well. And Mbeumo with one, and also Gutierrez late on as well. 12.5 minutes to go. Maybe not a long shot per se, but certainly not too close to Peacock Farrell, but a great strike regardless. So 4-1 Brentford, big win at Turf Moor, and there you go. And it's what we needed as well. 3 straight big wins in the Premier League. First Norwich at Carrow Road, then Wolves at home, and now Burnley away at Turf Moor as well. In all 3 of those games, winning by 3 or more goals, and scoring 4 in the case of Wolves, and in this game here against Burnley as well. It's not just enough to win. You need to win big if you're going to really convince yourself you're capable of winning Premier League titles. We certainly did in that one. Massive victory. And finally, after a really shaky patch of form, Brentford are getting back to their best when it matters most. So, second and final game of today's episode, aiming to extend the winning run to 7 in all competitions. Southampton away from home at St Mary's, taking on Ralph Hasenhutt's side. I'll be totally honest here, starting this game off, I just didn't really get out of the blocks. First chance falls to the Saints. A good stop by Baylor, kept it at 0-0, and 18 minutes in here as Traore receives the ball. It's another good stop by Justin as it's still 0-0. I played really poorly in the first half and created no chance whatsoever, and 20 minutes after the restart we were still tied at 0-0. Ole Yinka denied by Justin at the near post here as we were still tied and still goalless, and I didn't know whether it was the fear of facing Bayern Munich away in Germany in midweek, but I just wasn't really on my game in this one. And after 3 big wins in the Premier League, that was a surprise. Our only real chance of the game came in stoppage time. A good stop by Joan kept it at 0-0, and that was how the game would finish. Southampton 0, Brentford 0. When you look at the stats here as well, I've got to be honest, I was pleased to get a point. Absolutely no doubt about it. Baylor made 3 good saves. Defensively, we were put under a lot of pressure for the entire game. 0-0 the final score. Liverpool with the chance to close the gap. They do that as they cut it to 3. 12 games to go. And I've got to say, this title race is going to be pushed every step of the way. With 10 points clear of Spurs, they could still get back into it. But for Liverpool's sake, 12 games to go, the gap at 3, of us still trying to be competitive in the Champions League and the FA Cup as well, I'm just starting to wonder whether we can handle the pressure of competing for the treble. But that will end this for the career mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it. If you had, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next episode of career mode. Do not miss it. We've got the FA Cup last 16 against Brighton and the first leg of the Champions League last 16 against Bayern Munich as well. Massive games as we fight for the treble, and I'll see you for it very soon.